Hello and welcome to the What is K-pop podcast, on which I usually talk all things K-pop, but today I'm going to be talking a little bit, just briefly, because I kind of wanted to, talking about something that I remembered from when I was in school and I wanted to talk about it. So I've mentioned it before and I've mentioned it quite a few times, but schooling and education wasn't ever really something I gelled with much as a kid. Obviously in school I was like in primary school, I was very much like the happy-go-lucky kid that like was really happy like pretty much most of the time. Just like kind of ambled along school, never really did particularly well in anything really. And that was pretty much the consensus for a lot of my schooling. And then obviously when I turned 13, I've mentioned it quite a few times, but I started to get anxiety in my lessons. And initially I thought that I'm sure it's the thought process of everyone that was involved that I had developed anxiety, and that once I kind of learned to deal with that, I'd, be able to function and like go to lessons again. But what kind of transpired that I didn't really realize until kind of, I'd say like nowadays, after like quite significantly after the fact, I was having not meltdowns but like shutdowns almost. I had gone so long at that point to like not get, you know, the care that I realistically needed, that I was basically unable to function in, stress inducing situations. At home even, I was like anxious because I wasn't having my sensory needs met. And nowadays I am kind of able to recognize when I can't do something, but I don't necessarily know what I need to like help me combat those situations. And I guess the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because of what happened at my support group. Because there was like a little kid that was running around being really loud, and then someone was sick, and it was generally very loud there, and it reminded me a lot of being at school. And the thing is that like I don't want to ever be in that situation again. I don't want to ever have to feel like I'm a burden and that I have to suppress my feelings and I have to kind of battle through the situation when I'm going to the support group to get support for something that I'm then dealing with the negative effects of. Not that autism is like some sort of like horrific condition that I deal with, it's just my daily life. But it really kind of struck me. It was just like, wow, I'm feeling exactly the same way as I did when I was in school. I felt extremely bad about not being able to function and not being able to be in the room and like having to take time out for myself. And I was often made to feel like as though I was a problem and that, what I wanted was an issue. And there was actually a situation when I was in year 11, and God, I was so, I wouldn't say depressed, but I was so in such a place where I wasn't even fully there, I was there in my body and soul, like in body, but I was just somewhere else completely. And I would like wake up and I would feel so tired and so dreading my school day that like I would just kind of have to be like, just get through this, get home and just like relax. And like I would have to do it all over again and stuff. And it got to a point, towards the end of year 11 when it was like April, literally a month away from my exams, where I was attending like a lesson a day, if that. I was attending 5 lessons a week. That's like, out of 25, that's like a very bad percentage. And my teachers, they just couldn't deal with that because it was to the point where I was like, she's at the end of year 11. If she wants to fuck up her future, she can do. That's not our problem anymore. that, reconciling with that, now I'm just like, oh wow, the school actually really hated me. And there's nothing I can really do about it because I was shook. And obviously, there's nothing I can do about it now because I don't care. But like, my teachers really didn't like me, or the school didn't really like me. And when I was kind of going through, again, like after the pandemic and we went back, I wasn't able to go into, like, I would say this, I had 1 month of peace doing level 3 before everything kind of went tearing towards the horizon with its arse on fire. Because what I needed wasn't anything what I was getting. I needed almost like one-on-one support to teach me the material, kind of go through what it is that I needed to do properly in the assignments, to be left alone to do said assignments, to be checked in on regularly, and just kind of having that interaction, that one-on-one time, but we can't get that in a classroom, and especially not in an environment where you can't be too close to people unless, like, because they might be sick and you might get COVID and stuff like that. And just going back to year 11 quickly, it was around about this time of the year actually. I was pulled out of I was told, like, in my before my English lesson, that, oh, just stay behind, Sophie, because we're going to be like, this was the head of Senko, we're going to be talking to the head of year 12, the year that you're going into. And I had expressed to my mum and my teachers that I wanted to do A level. I wanted to do A level government and politics and law and stuff like that. And I knew realistically I probably wasn't going to do A level, so I was probably going to do level 3, which I ended up doing eventually. But in a roundabout way, I was told to manage my expectations and told, oh, you should probably look into doing level 2 courses, Sophie. And, at the time, my ego was so fragile that I couldn't take it. And, like, when I eventually failed, I was devastated. And I went on this, like, massive trip the whole year where I was like, I am too good for this. Like, I shouldn't have to do this. And it's, like, funny looking back on it now because I'm like, Sophie, calm yourself down, first of all, like, what the fuck? And second of all, I get that you're mad at yourself, but you failed. You have to take maths again, and this is a good chance for you to realise that, like, yeah, it's tough out there. You can't just fucking wing it. And, like, I understand now that I wasn't in the place to be able to do, like, exams and do the revision and do all that stuff because it cascaded on me so quickly. Over the space of, like, 3 years, I basically became immune to being able to function. And, like, in the midst of that, my mum ended up, like, going into hospital for like a week, but she was ill for a very long time after that. And, looking back on that time myself, I'm like, yeah, you did what you could, but it's still affecting you now. Like, I see pictures of my former classmates on Facebook, for example, like, doing amazing stuff. Some of them are even parents themselves now, and they're able to function. Like, one of my friends that I had such bad arguments with her. She's got her own house now, and a lot of them have been in jobs for years. And what am I doing? I'm still stuck at home podcasting. I'm not making any money. Yeah, I get universal credit, but it's the fact that, like, I guess it, like, keeps on running in the back of my mind of that, like, I was basically told to manage my expectations, completely nuclear bombed myself out of education, and I've only just kind of gotten, I've been in it for, like, a good couple of years now. I've been doing these courses for 2 years, but I'm still, like, recovering from all of the bad stuff, and, like, trying to go to, like, the support group and getting support and doing these things. I'm seeing the effects, really, of the stuff that I did when I was younger. I'm really starting to actually see, how important it is to still do these, to revise and, like, get good grades and do all of that stuff. But I also have to keep on reminding myself that, like, I wasn't ever in a position to be able to pass, and I needed to have had the support that I now am starting to get when I was much younger. Like, I'm low support needs. Yeah, no support needs. So I don't need too much support, but I needed that little bit of support throughout my life. Like I got it in primary school, like I was often in like the help like the English help classes, but I realistically needed those again when I was in secondary school, and I needed the extra little bit of help, like having the teaching assistant kind of be there to be like, come on Sophie, do this task, and like kind of encourage me, because I like learnt the skills enough to like kind of do it on my own, but I didn't fully understand what I was working on. So often I got kind of lost in the fields of my own mind, thinking that it was correct what I was doing when, the rest of my classmates were in a stadium. I don't think that analogy really worked. But what I'm saying is that, like, I was becoming so lost that I'm now so far behind that, like, I don't know where to begin. I don't know. It's definitely hard, and I really hope that one day I'm kind of able to function and do things how that my classmates are doing now, like possibly in a few years' time. And I really do think that I should probably like not be friends with them on Facebook and just kind of have only my family and like the support group people on there, because they understand me a lot better, and I understand them a lot better than I think I could ever understand my old classmates. So yeah, it was supposed to only be 10 minutes, but I ended up being 13, but not to worry. Yeah, so later I am going to be doing the month in review, but I do have to wait a little bit longer, just until 4 o'clock, which is when, no, 3 o'clock, which is when Korea goes from the 31st to the 1st of February, so that's technically when the month in review ends. So yeah, that will be I will be recording that literally at 4 p.m. right before I start doing dinner, so I really do hope you enjoy that episode. This is just a bonus episode, and you don't have to listen to it if you don't want to, but yeah, thank you if you did, and I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.